Blog Talk Radio. Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
It's Labor Day.
It is.
School starts for most areas. Who hasn't started school yet will start school tomorrow.
Really? Wow. Our school's already started.
Some places in Minnesota and other places are still old school where they don't start till after Labor Day.
Nothing wrong with that.
So it is also the beginning of September, which is Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month.
Yeah, it is.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about, because it is Suicide Awareness Month, and we always talk, in general, there's so much talk about veterans and suicide and how the numbers keep going up but not going down. But there's another huge demographic that I want to talk about that is never talked about with suicide rates. And that is the autistic teens and young adults. So out of all the kids that are diagnosed with autism, 25.2% of those have thoughts of suicide.
Wow.
Out of that 25%, 8.3 has either succeeded or attempted suicide. It's increasing.
Why do you think that is?
The big reason is because of how they are treated and felt. These kids are not taught. There was a big story that came out a few years ago about a young lady who was going through puberty, and she was high-functioning autism, but she wasn't taught everything about what puberty meant, what, as a girl, what you go through. And so she just didn't feel right and felt uncomfortable. And so she ended up, parents took her to a therapist, and because of the therapist basically told her parents that they have two options. Either put her on hormones and let her have the sex change ceremony and you have a son, or she's going to kill herself. And none of that was actually on her radar. She just was scared. And so, a big part of that is these kids are always told, always knocked down. And this is why I want to talk a little bit about it, because in my research, even in my personal life and in my work, I have learned to realize that a way a veteran or a service member thinks and how their brain is wired is parallel to an autistic individual's mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a lot of the same things they struggle with, so it made it easier to understand some of these secrets. And another big part of why they suffer with mental health issues is the same with why veterans, why we struggle, is that we are trying to figure out, our identities and who we are. Spend your whole life or a good time of your life in a uniform. And you associate yourself, and you even label yourself, and society labels you as that soldier, as that warrior. And then you get out, and you're not that soldier anymore. And this is why part of the reason why I absolutely hate this term is the veteran. It's used in two different ways, and one is, it's, honor, but the other one is all about, we're a project that needs to be fixed. Same with the autism community. It's a world that, there's something wrong with us. Instead of helping us, you have to do it for us. And it's all about patting yourself and make yourself feel better by doing something for us. Like every election year, we're going to fix the veterans' homeless crisis. But yet, you don't help us build credit scores so we can get, an apartment when we get out. You don't teach us, how to do things so that we have a job getting out. So how do you fix the homeless crisis with the veterans? It's the same thing with autistic children. As they go through this system designed for them to fit into society at their own expense. Because they're being constantly told that this is what you have to do to fit in. It's never who you are as a person. It's all about what you have to do to fit into society.
According to society's rules.
Correct.
If you don't play the game, you're an outcast.
And that's it,
Mhm.
And even if you play that rules, you have to keep playing those rules. Unless you fit into an elite club of individuals that do their own thing, you're just out there, or you're someone's pet project.
I'm my own pet project. But I understand what you're saying.
Brings me into my next announcement. Starting this month, we are going Optimize My Life, which is this platform, is going to be one of the very first platforms we're going to host a whole series of shows by neurodivergent community for neurodivergent community. So every host coming up in the evening time will be autistic or ADHD, something in that community, to be able to teach and educate others how to overcome, how to deal, and how to do things. Everybody will have a unique gift, and they're going to share that gift. From running their own businesses to financial literacy. Things that you wish you would have known or you should know. And we're partnering with another organization. We're going to create our own social media platform.
Cool.
Just for neurodivergence. And I don't know if you knew this yet, but post-war syndrome fits into the category of neurodivergence.
The what?
So the new term for like ADHD, HDD, ADD, autism, depression, anxiety, is now into a category called neurodiversity. And so not only is one of the areas that this network or this social media platform will be open to is the veterans. A safe place that they can talk with other people in the same situation.
That's good. Because in the military we have that. If we don't help each other, who's going to help us?
That's right.
So we don't have each other's backs. What good are we?
That's it. That's one of the things that, I always worried a lot about was how, it's great when you're in the military, but when you get out, you end up in the middle of nowhere and you have no support systems other than a phone call away.
Yeah.
And
you
so
don't know
this way
who to
we're...
contact.
Huh?
And so you don't know who to contact, or at a time whenever you're most vulnerable, it's hard to trust anybody either.
That's it.
Right?
And that's part of the problem. Is even the best, well-meaning individuals, what you don't know.
Right.
And so many people are quick to jump on a cause without actually doing the research. I have found that there's so many people with good intentions and, don't care intentions. But, they take a few courses on post-war syndrome or PTSD. And they think they know what they're doing and, try working with people.
And they don't.
So many people have come to they do more harm than good. Especially with not knowing some of the world that we live in and some of the things we deal with. They talk about how you need to talk problems. And a lot of times in severe traumatic events, the more you talk about it is just as bad as not talking about it and can be as triggering. And it's just as easy and safe to not talk about it, but you mentally connect the dots together to help you overcome it. A good example is 9/11. For years, I couldn't talk about it. My TV didn't get turned on that day. Because I couldn't watch.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a big controversy about that, too.
Some of it I believe. I've done a lot of research on 9/11 and conspiracies and yada, yada, yada. There was a group of kids that started out as a high school project, turned into a college project, turned into a movement called Loose Change. And some of their points actually made a lot of sense. And I went to their world premiere when they released the fourth version of it, because as new information was coming out, they would update and add to the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it I do believe, like the Pentagon, for instance, and how there's a perfectly round circle hole in the middle of the Pentagon, on the side of the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
How does a plane do that? How did the plane, just perfectly fly like it did, and the telephone poles all fell one direction? And with it being, the part that I didn't think about till years later, and I didn't care. I was busy doing other things. But, the big thing with the Pentagon was that place has so many security cameras. Everywhere around the Pentagon has security cameras.
Mm-hmm.
There is not one actual photo, video released of a plane hitting the Pentagon. All you see is a flashlight. Just saying.
Well, everybody draws their own conclusions.
But I never understood why they'd hit the Pentagon anyway, other than as a distraction, because everybody knows the Pentagon's underground.
Oh, they were just making a statement.
But, the biggest non-conspiracy, the biggest fact is 9/11 could have been prevented. And I'm not saying the memos and crap that came to George Bush saying plane hit towers. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there was a gentleman, Musawi, that was arrested here in Minnesota prior to 9/11 for terrorist activities. And the FBI was trying to access his computer, couldn't get the proper warrants to do that till after the fact, and turned out that they had all the information, all the plans were on his computer. But it was a jurisdictional fight.
Judicial or
yeah, something between local, federal, and basically the same thing, ain't it?
in other words, it was all bureaucratic.
Yeah, fight issues between the state and federal government, who has access.
Mm.
Yeah. But it's just a long line of, thing our government is really good about is fear-mongering to control our population.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was the codes, the color of the day. Something is going to happen somewhere in the world at some time to someone. And I remember hearing, even news stations highlighted their towers with LED lights so that it would light up that color. So everyone knew where you lived, knew what color of the day it was. We did that for how many years? Now it's COVID. And then it's the transgender world and, China and Russia. And then it's the whole election. There's always something put out by our government with the media to create fear.
Yeah. But what is fear?
Fear is absence of knowledge. It's a way to control a mass population. You fear what you don't know. Unfamiliar is familiar. Lack of control.
The best definition of fear that I've heard comes from an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
FEAR. False evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
That's all fear is.
And you do know why fear is such a powerful piece for why we react so much on fear.
Aside from keeping us in line?
Keeping us alive.
In
Your
line.
brain is yes, but it's to keep us alive. Your brain, as much as it does, is your laziest organ in your whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And its only job is to keep you alive. So it uses fear and thrives off of fear to protect its host. Now, my son now calls the brain a parasite. That's how he describes the brain, because it basically controls your body and what you do, your reaction, how you talk, but its only function is to keep you alive. It feeds off of everything else. And I looked at him yesterday, and he was telling me this. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. Start hiding my books and stop leaving my computer laying around so you can start going through my classes. Because I just got accepted on a scholarship to the University of Chicago to study neurobiology and how your brain is wired.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking over all the paperwork because it starts next week. I'm doing it online, but I want to learn how your brain operates at a deeper level. But it's like even your memories are only a chunk or parts of your memories are real. Our brains. This is the big difference between like autistic individuals and regular people, is they have like photographic memory, so they remember everything matter of fact, not emotional. And so when they remember things, it happens to be all the pieces of the puzzle put together. But when a regular person remembers things based on their belief system, based on their emotional states, things like that, it only remembers chunks of it, key phrases or taglines, if you want to call it modern day talk. And so to fill in the blanks, it puts in, different things, which is why actual first party recollections, eyewitness testimony, is the most inaccurate testimony out there. That's why 4 people can see a car accident and 5, you'll have 4 different stories.
Yeah. Well, everybody has a photographic memory. Some people just don't have any film.
I like the way you put that. Now, for the younger generation, you want to explain what film is?
I want what? Oh, film. Yeah. I don't know if you ever heard the word Kodachrome or the song Kodachrome, but it talks about the old time cameras. They had what they called film that would go in it and let the shutter would work, and it would let the light in and take a picture or snapshot of the item that you're looking at. Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Because my dad, he had a 35 millimeter camera, and I was looking at some of the old slides, and he took a picture of me and my cousin sitting on a log, and I'm the only one that's not looking at the camera. I've never looked at the camera. So, but nowadays, your phones are all digitized and all this other. You don't need film. Kodak is a thing of the past.
Well, you know what the sad part is with that is that, you know, you go, like, I was doing it the other day, and I was going through pictures, and I found the piles and piles and piles and piles of negatives. You never totally really lose the pictures. Or now in the digital age, if you don't back them up, those memories are gone forever.
Right, exactly.
You know, good example is my military pictures are gone. My camera with the SD card in it and my phone that had the backups were stolen. And so there's really no pictures of my military records left.
Yeah.
And I, you know, go through my father-in-law's stuff, and there's, you know, cases and cases of tapes or the old recordings, but they were back on that reels.
Reel to reel. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, all the negatives and stuff.
Yeah, that they came out and said that the reel to reel was better than the vinyl, and then CDs were better than reel to reel, or no, tapes were better than reel to reel, and then CDs became better than tapes. So one CF after another.
Yep. Well, you
Ain't
know,
it the truth?
records are coming back.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had some of my old original records. Man. If wishes were horses, men would ride.
That's true.
But if wishes were APCs, men would ride too.
I was watching a documentary last night. Two of them, actually. And one was on Abraham Lincoln. And how we really never tell the full truth about Abraham Lincoln. And they were comparing it to the period of January 6th and the whole Trump thing to what life was like for when Lincoln came into office and trying to deal with slavery. And it was actually really interesting. And how history in the U.S. is repeating itself.
Oh, yeah, we're on a pendulum. You know that. Swings from side to side. It swings from side to side, and the only time it actually does not go beyond balance is whenever it stops. Then you got real problems.
It's just ironic how everything is the way it is, and how, you know, history keeps repeating itself, but yet we seem to ignore it.
We don't learn anything. Or I should say those in charge don't learn anything. They don't pass it on. All they do is pass on their agenda.
That's true.
People look at you and lie right to your face. Tell you what you want to hear. Tickle the eardrums a little bit.
No. What do you need the box out?
It's gonna go. From the puppet show.
Okay, well, empty the box out on my couch here, and then get me a bottle of water, please. And do it quietly, please. You're like a bull in a china shop.
I'm sorry. What's this?
That's fine. Now get me a bottle of water, please. God, she is the most ungraceful child I met. But the funny thing is the more she tries to be quiet, the more noise she makes.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And the funniest part is the poor kid going through so many growth spurts that she spends so much time just laying there. My legs hurt. My arms hurt.
Oh, I must be going through a growth spurt too. Man, my hip is killing me. So you're going on that, yeah, you said you're going on the cruise, right?
We are going on the cruise. Our tickets are set up. I still got to work with them, but we got plenty of time because the kids are coming away. And so we're on the bottom of the ship.
You're on the bottom of the ship?
Yeah, we're on the first floor. Thank you. Because, Ariana, how about getting me one that's not, hey, turd ball. Ball face. Forward march. It's empty. Get me one that's not empty, you little turkey. Hurry up and come back. I drink Crystal Light in my water. And so she grabs me a packet that is already emptied because I threw up in an old box. Yeah, because my son's he's one of those individuals that when he can't sleep or he gets anxious, he walks across the floor, but he walks really heavy. So all you'll hear for hours is thud, 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 as he paces the length of the room. And it's great for me because I know where he is and I can sleep through it. I'm asleep as long as I'm hearing the thud, 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 thud. But when I stop hearing the thud, I get up instantly. It's like a baby crying sound. But the people below us wouldn't appreciate it. So the Carnival Cruise Line is actually going neurodiverse friendly, so they have different things, and we're working with them to help adjust what needs to be adjusted to be more neurodivergent or autistic friendly. So, like, for instance, that area is the lights are a little bit dimmer, so it's not so bright in the hallways.
It'd be nice. They going to the Caribbean or Bermuda? They're not going to Bermuda. Not if they're leaving out of Port Daytona.
We are going out of Cape Canaveral, and I think we're going to the Caribbean somewhere.
Right. Probably at least 3 islands, 4 islands.
And then we're leaving a couple days early, and we're gonna spend the night before we go, or before we leave on the ship, at Cape Canaveral.
Nice. One place I'd love to go is the Houston Space Center, Space Academy. I always wanted to go there.
My goal is for my son to go in a couple more years.
But now, is NASA trying to take over SpaceX, or what's going on with that? Why were the astronauts not brought back?
You mean not brought back?
Well, the media kept saying, well, they're stranded. I don't believe anything the media says, but just wondering. Didn't they have problems with something? I don't know. I follow that. I just heard NASA was in with SpaceX. I thought SpaceX was by itself.
So NASA partnered with SpaceX. The guys were on New Craft, the Starliner. So they were on mission to the was supposed to be an 8-day mission, and it had so many issues with their thruster malfunctions and helium leaks and more. Well, how do you know? It's Boeing's issue. Boeing developed the new spaceship.
That was it.
Boeing's had a lot of issues.
Yes, they've come under a lot of scrutiny. But
so what is happening is Musk has partnered with NASA to get the guys back, and that space liner, Starliner, is going to come back on its own automatically. Because apparently they can't fix the issues in flight.
No, I got
a
question. Huh?
Boeing's had a lot of issues.
Oh, yeah.
Doors falling off of their planes.
Good grief.
To whistleblowers dying.
Yeah, what's up with that? Crazy. The whole world's going crazy. Of course, they said that 41 too. So
he died from MRSA.
yeah, right.
How does a healthy man die of MRSA?
I have no idea.
MRSA, that's what we used to get in the military from our sores, right?
Something like that, yeah.
That was the big scare.
Yeah. Whenever I was in, MRSA wasn't even a word.
I just remember I taught the guys when we were in boot camp because the boots sucked so bad and they never fit right. Feet up so bad. I always had blisters. I have scars. And so I came up with taking pads like women have use for their periods.
Mm-hmm.
And you put them on your feet. And so it's like extra padding on the bottom and the back of your heel. And so
right.
the guys would all be going to the PX, to the commissary, or buying cases, things of pads. And this is back in the late '90s, before this transgender stuff. So they got a lot of weird looks. So now they started conning us into doing it for them. But it worked so well to help, when you're doing all that marching.
Mm-hmm.
Because your boots just rub you raw.
Yep. Well, it's raw leather on the inside.
Mhm.
But I tell you what, I got my my pair of boots, jump boots. What I call jump boots, combat boots. In basic, and they were the best fitting. I don't know how I got them, but man, they fit me like a glove. I love those things.
They gave you the wrong
one. Everything else sucked. Huh?
You got the wrong ones.
Yeah, I did.
You got an opposite
wrong ones
boot.
according to them.
God, they were so heavy.
They were heavy. Yep.
How you lose weight just walking in them damn things. I need to go order a new pair. I still wear combat boots.
Mhm.
Remember, I was so excited when I was done, and now Nike and Reebok and all them make combat boots.
Yeah, well, they ain't combat boots.
They are. They've got a contract through the military, so because of each of the brands have a specific insole, and so we always had a company come out that sold combat boots, and you'd go and buy them, or you have to order them online. But they're the most comfortable pair of boots. I lived in them things. And they weren't any more expensive than going to the PX. They were $150. But they were, you only could buy them on base, or you had to have your card to get them, online.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
I bought a pair for my husband because he does construction. And so a lot of times he's roughing or he's, out in the elements.
Mhm.
And he complains about his feet getting wet all the time. And I go, here, wear these. If they're comfortable. Once you break them in, wear them around the house and wear them in the shower. It's like, what? And I go, dummy, take your boots, put them on, go take a shower. Get them wet. and wear them wet for a while to stretch them out and make them fit you right. Yeah, me, I'm like, civilians are dumb. Listen to us who do it for a living. It's the fastest way to break them things in.
Mhm. Yeah, I love mine. I mean, we did PT in combat boots. Not in chukka boots, not in sneakers, but in combat boots. Nowadays, you got to do them in sneakers.
Depends. We did it in both. Because they wanted us to be prepared for either or. Because if you were deployed, you're not going to have sneakers with you. But, you know,
True.
It's the kinder, friendlier army. No, nobody. You can't be mean anymore.
Yeah, like the enemy's not going to be mean to you.
Well, that's what we used to joke about when, you know, we couldn't train when it rained anymore. Because, you know, you could get sick.
Yeah, they're going to stop fighting because it's raining.
Well, that's exactly what we were joking about. You know, you're going into a battle and, oh, sorry, we got to stop. It's raining. Let's meet back here at 200 when it stops and it dries up a little bit. Then we'll come back and fight.
Yeah. That's the dumbest ass thing I ever heard of. We drilled in the rain. We marched in the rain. We PT'd in the rain. So, you know.
You got woke
nowadays,
up to go do shit in the rain just because it was raining.
the world's changing. But the nice thing I heard is people are starting to wake up about this woke crap. And so a lot of Hollywood big shots or big stars are coming against it. So that's good. They're trying the wokeness out of the movie industry.
Yeah.
About time.
Paramount Plus just spent billions of dollars with for Mel Gibson and Tim Allen and Mark Wahlberg to create non-woke, family-friendly programming.
Inundated in school by the left's philosophies. They don't need it on TV.
That's it.
Parents to grow a pair and stand up. Right?
I agree 100%. That, not only that, but also getting involved in your kids' lives. Don't use, I remember back, it used to be a big public announcement all over TVs. TV's not your babysitter. Or do you know where your kids are?
Yeah. That's funny. We were just talking about that the other day. My son and his daughter and me and my wife went to breakfast, and we were talking about that. He said, "Yeah," he said, "I remember Dad saying, yeah, I know where my daggone kids are. They're up in bed where they're supposed to be." Unless it was summer, then I left them up and either build a campfire or let them stay up and watch TV a little bit. They were in bed by 11.
I wish my kids were in bed by 11.
I hear you.
But the difference is my kids are special. And so sometimes sleep is hard for them.
Yeah.
But, God, it's so funny, though. Like yesterday, my son just starts laughing so hard at some of the dumbest shit. And he'll come in and just mess with you for the fact that he'll mess with you. Like, I was cleaning out. It's still warm enough here that we still have our pool up and running. And so I'm up on the ladder trying to scrub off the ladder and, move it and clean it. So he thinks he's funny. He's going to try to pick me up, almost picks me up, to throw me in the pool. And he figured out really quick I got quick reflexes. They're both learning that one. And then he grabs my pants and goes to pull them down because he knows I'm going to grab it with both hands. And I caught it, and I grabbed him, and I grabbed his arm, and pushed him off. And then he goes, "I'm going to get you yet. You're going in the pool. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow, but I will get you." I just look at him, and I'm just like, I'm laughing. Like, my God. He's turning into me.
She said, if I go, you go.
Always. But he's really starting to get into that personality of just, what can I do to screw with you today?
Mm-hmm.
And I can honestly take all the credit for that. Because that is what I do to Dad on a regular basis. I always told him, I go, you move me to the middle of nowhere. I need entertainment. You happen to be it. So I'm just going to mess with you because I have nothing better to do.
There you go. Yeah, we were moving all over the place. So, before we get ready to go here, next Monday is my surgery. So I won't be on. But in the meantime, be thinking about your bucket list. I'm working on a bucket list of my own. So I like to know what other people's bucket lists consists of.
I don't have a bucket list. I have goals.
Whatever.
And I say that because, I don't know, I don't think that far ahead. The things that I want to get accomplished before I die, and they're not like outrageous different things. It's just, I want to create movements and stuff like that. And that's my goal, to create things and have that lasting legacy.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So we'll be praying for you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
For everybody
The
else?
way I am, I need all the help I can get.
So everybody, spend some time with your families on this day off if you've got it. And school starts tomorrow, so make sure all the pieces are together. And have a good week.
Amen. You too. Everybody, enjoy today.
Yes.
Have fun.
You too. Always.
Okay.
Bye
Talk
for now.
to you later. Okay. Bye-bye.